How's it going, everybody? I am Preston Johnson.
Welcome to
Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV.
That's a general laugh.
That's exactly right. You're a fish.
Qwan, by the way, my producer, Qwan Young, doing a good job. He'll be taking the calls. How you doing today, bud?
Hey, man, how are you?
We appreciate you guys tuning in. Welcome to the show, Bets TV, bringing you Last Word Cheetah. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV. I am Preston Johnson. I'll be honest, Qwan Young over there, co-hosting, producing on the side. I haven't laughed at the shot in the intro of you laying on the couch talking through your bets in a long time.
It's been a minute.
And today, we're going to get some Qwan Young action, a $500 free roll for him to go into the August prize pool for the callers. Probably Tom Davis, who's just crushing all of you right now. He never loses. Another W last night. Shout out, Tom. We're going to pick the 4 Week 0 college football games tomorrow. We each have to choose a side. He's going to talk through his 4. Then I'll give my 4. If he has a better record than me, $500 goes into the jar. So I'll donate to that. So you guys are all rooting for Qwan. But I'm excited. I put him on the spot. I didn't even tell him about this till an hour ago. And he has to try to pick 4 sides in college football. And we'll see if he chooses the couch or not to talk those through. Welcome to those also tuning in from the Game Plus Network. As usual, we take your calls. 661-515-BETS is the phone line. We can talk through anything today on the Diamond, NFL preseason. And then obviously we got the main four college games. There are some FCS games if people want to fire and talk through those as well for college football tomorrow. I'm excited. It's week 0. College football is my favorite sport to bet on, to watch, although I'm a huge NBA homer. So it's close as far as watching as a fan, but college football, you just can't beat it. So I'm starting to get a little pumped. We did about 8 weeks of previews. I'm just set, man. I'm ready to get going. So
yeah, I've seen you excited, but this is a different level.
This is a different level?
Yeah.
I don't know why just seeing you laying in dismay on the couch got me like,
It's
all right,
time.
let's see how he breaks down 4 college football week 0 games tomorrow without any preparation.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You could flip 4 coins. Doesn't matter.
Call.
You just need to beat me. It's possible.
It's gonna be the callers. I need Carlos. I need Patrick. May throw some tone in there. It's a collective effort. We got to beat Preston so you can get some.
Okay, so if anyone has an opinion, Tom, of course,
yeah.
Goes without saying. If anyone has an opinion on those 4 games, let Qwan know so he can use them. I've already locked in my 4. I can't change them.
Didn't tell me.
He doesn't know what they are, but he'll choose his 4, and then I'll lock in mine. But it'll be fun. And again, it's just a free $500 for either Tom or whoever hits the crazy parlay the last few days.
Buzzer beater parlay.
By the way, we have Ian Wharton coming back on, NFL Film Study, to talk the final division in the NFL, NFC South. He'll be coming on about mid-show, around 1:30. And then next Monday, the official launch as its own show, Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinaire. We've been taking our time. We've run a few trial runs. Nobody's gotten past day 3, but we're just going to run these now daily, starting next Monday. And that'll be every day right after Last Word Cheetah. We're running it at 2 o'clock, 5 Eastern. So just so people have that in the back of their minds for next week. I'm ready to go. We can open up the lines, 661-515-2387. Baseball, college football tomorrow, and then we got NFC South. By the way, I saw you take a W earlier today on Twitter with the Jameis Winston. Don't think I didn't see.
No.
I definitely didn't like it. I didn't push the heart button. But I'll give you a little bit of love, and if you want to take, 30 seconds to bow.
That was a layup. I just need all of my Stafford takes to hit now.
That could be.
Those are the more troubling ones. But Taysom Hill versus Jameis, that was a layup. I got my feet wet with that. I'm sorry, man. He's a playmaker.
We're going to talk about the Saints.
Yeah.
I don't have much of an opinion on the Saints as a whole. Their season win total is 9. Let's actually put up the prices now, if you have it handy, so people can get an idea while we wait for some phone calls. I think 9 plus 440 to win the division. I think people are going to see that and be like, wow, that's like value. And there's going to be other people saying like, oh, no Drew Brees, Hall of Fame quarterback. They're really going to drop off. In this case, I think the market's pretty close to fair. I would just trust the market. The Buccaneers, I think, and Drew, when he was in earlier on Monday, breaking down some NFL with us in studio, I mean, he said the only team he's bet out of the NFC as a futures bet is Tampa Bay at 3-1 to win the NFC. They're just that much better, a tier above everyone else, and that's why you see such a discrepancy. 3-game drop off to the Saints, and then all the way to plus 440 as far as the second favorite in the division. We'll see. Jameis, he got the LASIK eye surgery, looking pretty good in preseason.
I'm gonna miss the Jameis.
Wait, did you just say that's a lie?
A lot.
Oh, a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah. The Jameis squints then means we're the greatest.
So here's the thing. People are reporting that he's saying, I can finally see street signs again. No, this is true, supposedly. It's like this guy was playing quarterback. He couldn't see and read street signs.
Yeah.
Like, maybe this actually helps. I believe there was actually a what's his name? There was a pitcher for like the Indians a few years ago. Same thing happened. He had an incredible year right after that, total bounce back. I believe they won the division. Might have been the year that they ran over into the World Series and then lost to the Cubs. I should have done research on that. I just thought of it, though. So maybe that's the case for Winston. Maybe the Saints are actually a team that can make a move. And I did see some people that have bet him at like 20-1, 16-1. I know it's dropped down to like 12-1 to win comeback player of the year, not MVP.
I saw some
comeback player of the year was like 20-1, 16-1 over the summer.
I saw some MVPs on the timeline too.
That's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's able to make the throws, Sean Payton, in his, I was listening to a podcast. I don't recall which one. I'm sorry, I can't give you guys any love. Sean Payton, I think he's been with the Saints for 14 years now. They've never had an offense that graded out below league average. They've always been above. And I think they were like top 6, 11 of the 14 years. Mm-hmm. It's just incredible. Like, there's that consistent. And I know a lot of it has to do with Drew Brees, but the last few years, Brees hasn't really been very good. Like, they're getting a better arm in that sense.
Yeah.
I think they're
decision making is gonna. I mean, like, the whole season is gonna boil down to if Jameis Winston is a turnover machine or not.
I don't think he will be. Because he can read signs now. He sees text normally.
Stigmatism.
He'll be able to tell if that's a defender or not.
That big blur is not your teammate.
Did you get a call, by the way?
We got 2 calls.
Okay, let's take one now, then we'll take our first break, and then we'll run about a 20-minute segment of calls after that. So patch them through. Welcome to Last Word. Cheetah, who are we talking with?
It's Tom Davis.
Hey, man, how you doing? Congrats again. Another win.
Yeah, but I didn't want to disrespect your guest yesterday, but you know that revenge, that works 2 ways.
That's usually how it goes. You're right.
You know, how he was pushing them Podego for the Padres and hollering about the revenge game. Like I said, it goes both ways. That sword cuts on both sides.
Yep, Scherzer pitched an absolute gem. It was easy. I believe final score was 4-0. So you didn't even have to sweat it. Another W for the Dodgers and for Tom. What do you like for the weekend or today?
For today, what do you see on the Giants?
Let me go ahead and pull up baseball. Sorry, I actually had college football up in front of me. You want the total or the Giants as a side?
The Giants as a side.
Plus 119.
That sounds good because the Braves is due for the Georgia Jinx.
I forgot that's your local team. Are you a Braves fan?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Nope. I told you all these things broke me as a child. Put your heart into it, and then they lose the mud at the end.
They just rip it out. Now it's that. Understood. That's how, honestly, BYU sports has been for me my entire life. I haven't really ever been that close to anything substantial, but as soon as they've had a couple chances, the Jimmer run, Brandon Davies gets expelled from the school for breaking the honor code. The one next year that they had a chance, they were actually like a top-tier offense. Then when they had COVID, canceled the tournament. And then the football team's never that good. But the first year I ever watched BYU football, I was like 8 years old. They made a run into the BCS. They were undefeated, and then they lost to Hawaii at the end of the year, so they couldn't make a shot there. Anyways, I'm rambling, but I know what it's like to get your heart ripped out. Tom, we'll lock you in for the Giants plus 119. And, yeah, Gosman against Freed. By the way, moving against you. Again, it's 3 days you've done that.
All right, buddy.
Take it easy. We'll talk to you Monday over the weekend.
Weekend peace.
We're clear to take the next call, Qwan. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Patch them through. We won't need to hit our break. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm great. Preston, this is Bob.
Hello. How's school been?
Well, we had this pre-duty day, so school starts Tuesday here, so in like 4 days. So
Okay.
I'm getting ready.
Got it.
Yeah.
I thought it was like you called in Tuesday or Wednesday. You did a long shot, and I thought school was starting on the middle of the week, but we got you next week. Okay.
Yeah. No, I had meetings, so that's fine. But I'm back. All right, I am ready for. By the way, favorite part of yesterday's show when Qwan says, there's only 2 NFL teams capable of going winless, and like before he could even utter another syllable,
Detroit
and I was like, dang, Qwan.
No faith.
Like throwing darts at you, buddy.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I remember
right.
that was pretty quick, and it wasn't the team we were already talking about, which was the Houston Texans. So
Listen,
there was only one left.
I couldn't get it out fast enough.
That was a good pickup. Yeah. All right, man. What do you like this weekend?
You're not giving away any of your college thoughts before Qwan does, is that right?
Correct. I will be waiting. He gives his 4. Maybe you guys can help him out, and then I'll share mine.
Now you guys go on the point spread bets or what?
Yeah, we're each taking a side in each game. Yeah, just the point spread.
Oh, got you. Okay, you said that. I just didn't catch that. All right. Yeah, well, I'm not sure UCLA's going to cover. I think 17.5 it's run up to now. But hey, I have a quick question. When you're firing a desperate multiple parlay or game parlay, I think it's wiser to do a few run lines and so have fewer legs in the parlay, or more money lines and have an extra game in there. What's your advice?
Generally, the advice is not to just throw together random parlays. So let's make that clear. This is for the sake of the callers trying to win the leaderboard for the month. The end of the month is coming. They're all multiple units behind Tom Davis. I know you know that, Bob. I'm just making sure listeners know. Because I'm about to say that there's no difference because the prices are already integrated into the likelihood and the win probabilities, right? So if you're doing run lines, yes, you're right. You don't have to do as many to get a higher payout as you would if you did just money lines. But the actual odds and chances of winning both would theoretically be the same implied odds. So it's not a difference. It's more of a preference thing for you. If you prefer to do like 3 plus money big, either run lines on the dog, the alternate run lines even, like you could do that, or you could just try to take a shot on like a 5-teamer, right? It's really just up to you.
Gotcha. Well, there's so many. All right. Well, hey, I'm going to go with this then. I want to start with NFL preseason. I'm going to go the Chiefs minus the 4 because I think Andy Reid said he's going to play his starters the first half. So
he did, I think, for a quarter and a half is the plan, yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, hopefully they score enough points in that time.
I can give you minus 4. All right. Next.
All right. Then I'm going to pick the Dodgers over Colorado, and I'm going to go run line on that.
Dodgers are hot. They don't even have a pitcher name. Doesn't matter. It'll probably just be an opener where they do the couple innings, bullpen.
Yeah.
Bullpen duty. I can give you minus 115 on that. I'll lock that in.
Minus 115. Okay. And then, of course, the Mariners. I think the over Kansas City. I'm going to go since they don't score a lot of runs. I'm definitely just doing money line on them.
At least you know. It is. I mean, yeah, it's juicy. It's minus 172. Minus 172. Okay, you probably have to fire one more.
Oh yeah. Well, I was going to go with the Ravens minus 180 over the WTF. Or WTF, I guess you want to say.
No problem. We can do. You don't want to do the minus 3.5. You want to go money line?
Yeah, I should just probably do money line.
Just verifying. Minus 175.
Minus 170. Oh, it went down 5. Okay. Or just a different book. All right. And then wanted to add in the Patriots over the Giants because the Giants, I mean, that's a team that the Lions could beat. So.
He heard that. He heard it. You want to go money line?
Good. Yeah.
All right. We'll just go minus 160. This will pay pretty good. It should be like 12 to 1. 13. All right. So plus 1341. Almost 13.5 to 1. That would put you in the lead. It would.
Yeah. I mean, I thought I could throw in. Well, okay. Hang on. Because you know what? This one's not going to lose. I'm adding one more just to put some pressure. on. Patrick, where you at, buddy? I'm picking the Bruins over Hawaii, but I'm not giving up the points because that's just crazy.
Okay, so you just want to add a little bit of a money line filler.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the money line price. I can give you minus 900. That should prop you up like to 14.5 to 1. 15 to 1 exactly. 15 to 1 plus 1,500.
Right, lock it in.
That's the W right there.
Good luck from Qwan. That's it.
6-teamer. That's all. Only 6 sides needed. Good luck, Bob. We'll talk to you Monday.
All right. Thanks.
Enjoy your weekend.
You too. Bye.
All right. Let's bring in the next call. Yeah. Bring him on. Welcome to the show. How you doing today? All right. You're on the show now. I think Qwan said you're good. How's it going?
Hey, what's going on, Preston?
Things are doing well over here. We're living.
You know what? I hope Bob hits that parlay. I would like to see him overtake Tom. I think that'd be really cool if he hit that.
Buzzer beater.
It would be. Yeah. It'd be nice. I remember I kind of implied I would have taken the field 2 weeks ago, and I'm just getting completely crushed here. So I'm rooting for Bob as well. Plus, it'd be a fun sweat. We'd have Monday and Tuesday, I think, still to finish the month.
Yeah, at some point, somebody's going to hit one of these long shot FanDuel DraftKings type tweeted out parlays. It's going to happen.
It will. Just a matter of time.
All right. So, you know what? I've already conceded that I'm not going to win this month. So I'm just going to do an advantage teaser for preseason. I'm seeing the Dolphins at +2 at several shops. I'll do a 6-point with that, move that up to 8, and take the Broncos down to 2.5.
Miami up to 8, and the Broncos down to 2.5. So go ahead and explain to our listeners why it's an advantage teaser. Some of them may not know.
It may not be as profitable in the preseason. I mean, the key numbers in the regular season, key numbers are obviously 3 and 7. So anytime you can tease through the 3 and the 7. I mean, that's obviously the optimal way to do it. I mean, you do typically, well, you know, I guess you really never want to tease through 0. But preseason, 3 and 7 aren't necessarily key numbers. Well, I guess they're still key numbers.
Not as much as the regular season, but they're still.
Right. So, and usually I don't do anything other than 6-point teasers because then it gets a little juicy after that. It
does. And for people that are just trying to piece it together, what he means teasing 3 to 7, exactly what he did, Miami, right? They're +2. He's taking it up to 8. He's going through the 3 and the 7, and that's generally going to be better than teasing a team from like +10.5 to +16.5 or something like that. So he's going with the 2 opportunities on the preseason board. We'll lock you in for that. And, do you have a book that you're actually quoting that from? Is it just -110, or do you have to go -120?
I'm looking at – actually, I do have one out that has -110 still. I'm waiting for them to change it. But everywhere else, I play it – I think I have 8 or 9 different books, and they're all at -20 except for the one.
Nice. Well, at least you got one. Use it while you still can. Probably just a matter of time.
I know. Oh, yeah. It's not going to last for sure.
Cool, man. We appreciate it. We'll lock you in, and enjoy your weekend.
All right. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Take care. We clear, or do we have someone up? We'll bring him through. We got 2. All right. Go ahead. Patch him through. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Hello?
Hello. We got you.
What's going on, Preston? It's Carlos.
What is going on is Qwan, right before the show, read off to me that, you know how you won 6 in a row to start the month? He looked into it. You've lost 6 in a row now going into today since you won the 3-team parlay.
You know what his downfall was? I stopped looking up my bets. I'm not prepared. That was the end. When he said that, I don't know what day it was.
Like one time he was in the car. He's like, well, I got to get something in.
I got to get something.
Like the Falcons play tonight. I'll take them. Yeah. It's rough. You know, sometimes people have lives. But what do you have for the weekend? What do you like?
I have the mother of all parlays.
Oh,
so you're going to be going all over different sports. So be ready.
Okay, hold on. You need to give me like 10 seconds.
Sure. Let's go. We got Colorado, Los Angeles over tonight. Over baseball. MLB first. Colorado, LA.
All right, let's do all the baseballs now. If you have them, let's do those all first so I'm not jumping back and forth. We can give you the over 8.5 at -113. Next.
Cool. KC, Seattle over.
Over 8 -105. Next.
Cincinnati, Miami over.
A lot of overs, Carlos. Not sure if you noticed. +100 I can give you on the over 8 there. Okay.
We're going to UFC.
All right, you're going to have to tell me what.
Barbosa, main event.
Barbosa, main event. Barbosa. That sounds Brazilian. You can just money line. Is that what you do?
Yeah, money line.
-115 I'm seeing. All right, I got it. Next.
And then, so we're going soccer. You might have to do a little digging for this.
Soccer?
It's West, huh?
Did you say soccer?
Yes.
Okay. Continue.
I don't know what league. But
that's hard for me to look up the line.
West Bromwich versus Peterborough.
Well, that sounds English.
Okay.
Probably ZPL. What's the actual bet?
It's over 2.5 goals.
It's not EPL. Do you know your soccer, Qwan?
No.
No?
No.
All right, it must be. It can't. Maybe it is in English. West Brom over.
Bromwich. Yeah. BROMWIC.
Got it. We got it here. All right, hold on. Totals.
Cool.
Over 2.5 -105. Over 2.5, you said? Just making sure. Okay. Is that it? It's a 5-teamer?
6-teamer. Jake Paul -200. Let's go.
I mean, okay, Carlos, we've done this before.
Carlos, stand your ground.
No, hold on. This one, it doesn't make sense to do 60. This pays 40 to 1. He doesn't need 40 to 1. He only needs what, like?
Oh wow,
like 15ish to 1. So it would benefit you to take out your least favorite. The -200 is fine because it's actually the most likely to win out of any of these. But if there's one that you're a little bit hesitant on, like the random soccer you pulled out, you don't even know what league it was. Maybe that's the one to pull. You should, because you're still going to have a huge number, a huge payout.
Carlos, light up the scoreboard. Go for 40 to 1, man.
This?
Believe in your
No,
you remember what happened last time.
You know, if he does.
This is what we're going to do.
Okay.
We're going to keep Jake Paul. We're going to keep Barbosa. We're going to keep the soccer. And then we're going to do Colorado, Los Angeles over. What would that pay? What would that give me?
You want to take out 2 baseball.
Correct. You know how baseball is.
That's not going to probably be enough. Yeah, that's only +932. You're going to need to add one of the baseballs.
Yeah. Okay. You need one.
Hey, ask him what he's asking his kid what he likes. He's like, damn it, he's only letting me do a 5-teamer. Which of these baseballs did you like more? He's asking his kid.
Carlos,
he had his kid.
Get your kids on 3-way. Call your daughter. Tell your son. Get them to collaborate.
He's like, oh no, I need to cut one. Son.
Get the kid from the baseball team. Come on, it's got to be a team effort.
Text Johnny.
KC and Seattle over.
You want that one. That means you're cutting it was Cincy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to add KC. All right, -105. All right, this is going to be good. +1915, over 19 to 1. That's plenty.
There we go.
You don't need to have the other baseball.
Thank you, sir.
You're
Have
good to lock it
wonderful
in.
Weekend.
You too. Take care.
He always has one that just falls apart. I wonder which one is it going to be.
Hopefully it's the Cincinnati over that he took out. He didn't need to be in there. Really didn't. I'm not trying to throw him over it. He doesn't need 40 to 1. Now, if it hits, he'll jump Tom Davis. But he only will be a few units ahead, and then he'll have to navigate the last 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, before the month ends. But he can, make that decision when it comes. I hope one of these hits.
Maybe 6 straight losses is like his breaking point. Like he won
Win 6, lose 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be. We have one more waiting right on the line. I know that was a long call. All right, let's patch them through. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Hey, Preston, it's Saurabh. How's it going, man?
Hey, I'm doing well. How you doing?
Good. You got the parlay calculator?
Yeah, I'm ready. I've had it up for the show.
All right. I'm going to go Diamondbacks.
Okay. Plus 224.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The Orioles.
Oh, did they play yesterday? Does anyone know off the top of their head? They had won 2 in a row going into yesterday, so maybe they're on a roll. All right, plus 205. I'll give you that.
Okay, and then the Mets, please.
Rich Hill, back from the dead, plus 180. This will be pretty good. So this is kind of the question that Bob was answering. Do you do 3 big dogs and parlay those, or is it better to do 5 or 6 that aren't huge dogs? This pays plus 26.67.
They're coming for Tom.
26 2/3 to 1.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually, I'd put him in the mix. I know Saurabh's lost quite a bit because he's been trying to play catch up a little bit, but
yeah.
I mean, almost 27 to 1. That's got to put him in there in the lead.
Yeah,
so.
he's I think he's around -1 maybe.
Oh, okay. That's not even that. Oh, this will put him way ahead. Great. Beautiful. We'll lock you in, Saurabh. We appreciate the call.
But thanks, Preston. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too. All right, we got one more caller still.
Baltimore won yesterday, 13-1.
They've won 3 straight. Since Carlos attended the game with his son, the Baltimore Orioles have not lost a game after losing 19 in a row. That might be the new me going to play or the unders every time I go to a game, any sport, any league. There's like a 16 under winning streak. I'll have to think about this more if the Orioles really win again tonight. Getting a call, it's not important.
We got a new caller.
Oh, we do.
Jaquan.
Well, thanks for holding.
Jaquan from Brooklyn.
Jaquan, welcome to Last Word Cheetah. How you doing?
Yo, what's up, brother? How you doing?
I am doing well, thank you. What do you like today or the weekend?
I got a question first, Preston. How many units we gonna need for the end of the day, for the end of the month?
So Tom right now is
gotta play some catch up here.
Yeah, he's plus 15.74, I think is the number. Yeah. So if you win 16 units, you're in first for the last couple of days.
And is we gonna get Monday and Tuesday, getting a crack at that?
Yep, August 31st will be the last day, I'm pretty sure, Tuesday.
All right, so let's cook up a 4-teamer here.
Let's go.
For the weekend. We're
All right,
gonna go with we're gonna go with some preseason. I got Packers Bill under 37.
Okay, got you there.
And we got the Bucks Texans under 37.
Yep, got you on 37 there. One spot has 37 still. Nice.
I like this Cardinals Saints. And we're gonna make that the over 34.
Yep, I can give you 34. Okay.
Where we got that at now?
Well, that's a 3-teamer minus 110. That's 6 to 1.
That's 6 to 1. All right, so we're gonna throw one more in. Let's get this Browns Falcons. I'm going to take the Browns minus 6.
Ooh, interesting. I believe someone called in yesterday and picked the Falcons. Was it Patrick? Actually, I think they took the other side. So we have a little bit of a battle, but that's okay. We'll lock you into the minus 6. That's just over 12 to 1, plus 1228. Plus 1228. You want to lock that in? 4-teamer?
All right. Let's do it.
Beautiful. Appreciate the call. Enjoy your weekend.
All right. You take care, brother.
You too. We got Ian ready. I just wanted to make sure that he had called in himself as well. I know we had planned to bring him on at 1:30. Yeah. What are you smiling at?
That it sounds like one of those voice changers, or like a bathroom with a lot of space.
It sounded like he was in an empty
Yeah.
room. Yeah, maybe he's been listening at work.
Yeah.
I got to
Had
go
to
into the
take a break.
bathroom real quick. Yeah.
I appreciate the dedication.
Yeah, especially for a first-time caller,
Yeah.
actually. It's that or it was Pikachu using the voice changer.
Come
Actually,
on, man. We don't need. Listen, let's bring Ian on.
Hold on. If you think about it,
Because that was like one of the first thoughts I.
the low tone was similar to Tom's, just no southern draw.
And he said 5-teamer.
Yeah.
5-teamer is always.
We'll investigate after the
Not
after the
again.
interview. You can bring on Ian if we're ready. We can split screen. Hey, man, welcome back to the show. We appreciate you coming back. At NFL Film Study, this is Ian Wharton. How you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you guys?
We're doing well. And we're going to break down the NFC South, which, if I recall correctly, Qwan said you have like 5 or 6 bets of action. So I'm going to just give you the floor. I'm not going to share many of my thoughts until after we hang up with you, and then I can kind of dive in a little more. But we'll start with the bottom of the division, which is usually Carolina, depending on who you're looking at, but the Falcons are right there too. Share your thoughts of the Panthers. It sounds like you don't like what they're set up here in this division, so go ahead and take it.
Yeah, so I'm selling the Panthers. I actually liked what they did last year. I thought that they were a team that made sense. They wanted to stay on schedule for a lot of their plays. Every game, they had some issues with turnovers. They had some issues with late game execution. Some of that is pure talent. And I thought they had an opportunity this offseason to really address that, kind of find a longer stability with the roster. And then they get Sam Darnold. They take the risk on Sam Darnold, who I don't think really fits the team. Looking at Joe Brady, really studying what he did at LSU, looking at what he's done in Carolina, I just don't think he's really a fit for what they have. I love Christian McCaffrey coming back, but that's not enough for me. I think they downgraded at quarterback. I think defensively, they just have some tough matchups. Like, that's a tough division as far as playmakers. And they did well last year, but I think I need to see that again to really trust them. 7.5 to me is a reasonable line, but I think this is a feast or famine division. As we get through it, you'll kind of see, I'm selling the bottom of the division and really buying the top of the division because certain franchises have done well to kind of accentuate their strengths, whereas I think the Panthers did poorly at looking at what their real issues were and changing the quarterback position, which was fair, but I don't think that they did it in the right manner. So I think they're going to really struggle through that division, and that's going to be a big opportunity loss for them because stylistically, they're just a wonky fit compared to their peers.
So let me ask a follow-up question on the Panthers. And I think so you like the under 7.5. You also, I think, said you would lay the minus 275, minus 300 for them not to make the playoffs as well. Last year, you mentioned Joe Brady. I loved him at LSU. Loved him before that when he was doing passing game coordinating for the New Orleans Saints. Then he goes back to the NFL with Matt Rule. I think he improved the Carolina offense. They went from 27th to 17th. This is with a team that played like 2.5 games with their best weapon, Christian McCaffrey, and Teddy Bridgewater, a quarterback. You're essentially alluding then that you don't think Sam Darnold's as good as Teddy Bridgewater. How much, and you have a bunch of actual film study in your background, in your experience. What you saw with the Jets, was that Sam Darnold then you think more than scheme, more than actual personnel around him? It sounds like you're leaning towards it's Sam Darnold. But I do think if there was ever an opportunity for Darnold, it would be now in this scheme just to actually show what he can do.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for Darnold. I mean, this is a really make or break year. I mean, there's no excuses. When I look back at the Jets, a lot, it was mixed, right? Like Adam Gase, we can't get around it. He was not good. He didn't have a great set of playmakers for the Jets. And of course, Gase didn't accentuate that. Like, he certainly bears, I think, the majority of the blame if we're going to give the blame game. But Darnold never progressed. There was no improvement in accuracy. His process never got better. He's the same guy he was at USC. So for him, I have to look at him and say, is there really that much of an upside? I don't know that there is. And at least with Bridgewater, I don't know that you had the upside with Bridgewater. And we'll see that with Denver. But in this situation, yes, Darnold definitely has a lot more weapons around him. He has a much more solid offensive coordinator. But his own issues are turnovers and inaccuracy. And for me, it's just a big leap to say that all of a sudden he's going to figure those issues out against a division that is very opportunistic. They do a great job of forcing turnovers. So I think you'd be looking at 6 games at least where he's very turnover prone. and that could decide those games. So I just don't think it's a good fit as far as schematically, and then also division-wise. It's not like he's playing a division that, kind of slacks on defense. I mean, the Falcons don't play great defense, but the Saints and the Buccaneers certainly do, and they play to force those turnovers. I think that's going to be a difference.
All right, fair enough. Let's move then to the Falcons. They're also around 7.5. I know they're no to make the playoffs, similar range, minus 275. Break down Atlanta, new coach. What's going to go on with this team? They trade Julio Jones away. How is it going to affect what they're doing on offense?
Yeah, I'm actually shocked to see them have 7.5. This team did nothing to get better this offseason. I love Kyle Pitts. I don't necessarily disagree with the decision to take him, but you take him with the caveat of you're going to continue building this team in a roster direction that favors veterans, that favors winning now. For Arthur Smith to leave Tennessee to come to this position, you either pivot now and you take the young quarterback, you move off of Matt Ryan, Julio, all these veteran salaries, or you embrace it and you just go all in. Now, they didn't have a lot of opportunities with the veterans because of their cap situation, as poor as it is for such a bad team as they are. But the defense is just as rough. They have no edge rushers. They have no star corners. Their linebacking position, they've got guys coming off of injury. Offensive line is a bit of a mess. Caleb McGarry, their former first-round pick, is battling with a practice squad type of player to start. Calvin Ridley's amazing. We don't know if Mike Davis can actually be a lead back for a full season. We don't know if he's going to finally have rushing lanes. Kyle Pitts is a rookie. So I think this offense is going to throw the ball a lot. We saw Matt Ryan look pretty shaky this training camp, this preseason. From all the reports, sounds like his arm is getting older. Sounds like it's tiring out a little bit. All of those are just huge red flags for me. This is one of the biggest teams I could sell in the league. It's going to be a great coaching job for Arthur Smith to hit the over on this, and I don't really see the formula for them.
All right, let's move to the next team up, which is going to be not the Buccaneers, but the Saints. And Qwan was taking a W earlier. They announced Jameis Winston will be the starter. Do you like Jameis? I'm guessing you're pro Jameis versus Taysom. Most people are. I have to defend my fellow alumni over at BYU. But at 9, season win total, division plus 440, where do you see him with New Orleans, and where are you going to go with it?
Yeah, so I am pro Jameis in the sense that he brings a higher upside, and that's embracing the downside that he brings as well. So Taysom, I think, is a safer play. I'm glad that they're not going safer. I want to see Jameis in this offense. I want to see them air it out, be aggressive downfield. He's a big play, big chunk thrower. I think that works well with this defense. We haven't seen Jameis with a truly great defense, and this defense has that ability to force turnovers, be really good against the run. They're deep at a lot of positions. They've done a great job drafting on that side of the ball. And if I'm selling Carolina and if I'm selling Atlanta, it only makes sense to me to buy New Orleans, because that's assuming that they're going to play at a similar level as they have the last couple of years. I don't think Drew Brees was really incredible the last couple of years. Oftentimes, I think they won in spite of him. Brees, in a sense, was similar to Taysom in that he was safer. But I think that Jameis really brings a new element to the offense, especially passing downfield. So I'm putting some trust into Sean Payton. I think he's going to do some great things without a lot of great weapons there. They just are a team that often I underestimate. And when they come into these close games, they just do a really good job of game planning, scheming, adjusting on the fly. And when I look at the rest of the division below them, some of these coaches are just green, and some of these rosters are a lot more green than them. They have big-time playoff experience. They have experience covering, and I got to trust that. And I think getting more fans at home will also help them.
Speaking to that, I was actually telling everybody earlier on the show, Sean Payton in his, I think it's 14 years with the Saints now, they've never once had an offense that graded below league average, and it was 11 of the 14 they were top 6, and I believe last year they were around 5th or 6th. So that was a Drew Brees that was kind of falling off, and a Drew Brees didn't even play a few of the games, right, because Taysom got a few starts. So if Winston can, the rumor is he can read signs now as he's walking down the street and like his eyes are fixed. I'm hoping, I'm actually rooting for him. I love Sean Payton. I love the Saints and what they're doing there. So I don't necessarily agree from my perspective, from my projections, but I'm intrigued more than anything about Jameis Winston and this whole setup. Last one, the Buccaneers. We had Drew Dinsick, whale capper, in on Monday. He said it's the only futures bet that he's made in the NFC was the Buccaneers at plus 300 over the summer. Season win total up there at 12. I think now it's more like plus 275 most everywhere on NFC, but go ahead and break it down. He just basically said, hey, they're just that much better, a tier better than every other NFC team.
Yeah, exactly. They were my play last year. Obviously, we hit it big on that. This year, I agree. I mean, you look at the rest of the NFC, what did the Packers do? They didn't do a whole lot. Who's even next after that? The Rams? We have to see it with Stafford. We have to see it with a roster that's very thin. They're very star heavy. We talked about that last time I was on the show. And so you look at the Buccaneers, they somehow pulled off the impossible. They didn't lose a major assistant coach. They didn't lose any stars. They had a ton of free agents. They were right up against the cap. They brought everybody back. There's a little bit of danger in that, of course, because do guys get complacent? But I don't think with Tom Brady, Bruce Arians, these guys, I think this is the one unicorn. This is the team that it's like Kansas City. They somehow figure it out because their peak leadership is that good. They're not going to allow themselves to get too complacent. There's going to be some stretches during the season, of course. That's where that 12 number gets a little scary, but I'm not sure who's going to beat them to it if they can stay healthy. We have an actually healthy Brady, a lot more running backs. We'll see if the receivers can stay healthy. The defense is just tremendous, and there are a lot of young guys. Like, I love that about this team. They're young enough to stay hungry. They're young enough to be fighting for contracts. So for them, I don't love the value at plus 275. Like, we'd much rather grab that at a better price. 12 wins is a lot too. But in 17 games, I think it's pretty realistic to say the number 1 or number 2 seed will have 12 or more wins. I think they have a good pathway to getting at least that many wins. And looking through the playoffs, it's just hard to bet against them. Like, at some point, if they're the best team, their quarterback continues to come through in the clutch. They have a great coaching staff. This is probably the last time we'll see the iteration of this Buccaneers team. I think they're going to lose a lot after 2021 if they have success. But I think they're going to go out with a bang, and I have a tough time seeing anyone stopping them in the NFC.
Real quick, and then I'll address some of my thoughts and points after we get off the call. But I've heard some people say, like, hey, well, if the Buccaneers are just going to be that much better than everyone else in the NFC, clear 1 seed shot, plus 275, yeah, that's probably not worthwhile anymore. Although, honestly, let's be honest, if they're like 9-1, 10 weeks in, and they have a huge lead, or maybe they're 10-0, it might be like plus 150. So maybe plus 275 is the best still that you're even going to get, which is kind of Drew's point, kind of looking ahead to the schedule. But the main thing I've heard is, well, why don't you bet Tom Brady at 14-1 or 12-1 to win MVP? Is that something that you would even consider? Do you think that they're going to rely more on the run game and the defense and his stats just won't be there? Or do you think that they can open it up? Do you think Tom Brady at age 44, I believe it is now, has a shot at the MVP?
I don't ever want to rule him out. I'm avoiding that bet, one, because I do think they will run the ball more. They've recently just talked about it. They ran more in the playoffs because that was more of their identity, to build off of play action. They actually had to run the ball. They actually had to establish that a little bit more. I think they'll do a better job of that this year. Guys are actually healthy. They're more established. Gio Bernard, he's going to be a great third down back for them, catching balls out of the backfield. Yeah. I think they're going to try to limit the hits that Brady gets, right? Like, that's the obvious thing. And that's going to continue to be get the ball out quickly. They have Antonio Brown healthy. So they can get the ball into space. They have Darden, the rookie, who's been phenomenal thus far. Those guys will help his numbers. The storyline is always there with Brady because of his age. The team will be set up for success. He's not a bad bet. I just look at guys like Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers in his final season with Green Bay, most likely. Like, those are, to me, a little bit better stories, and that's what we're betting with the MVP. It's not necessarily the best season, it's the best story. Dak Prescott, too, coming off of a major injury. I think Dallas will be quite a bit better this year if he's healthy all year. So, to me, I don't mind the bet. I think it's a good bet. But I do think there's fatigue with Brady, and I think that the fatigue plays into this storyline and the odds.
Okay, that makes sense. Nice work, Ian. We appreciate the time. Before we let you go, let everybody know where they can find you, what you're doing the next week or two before the season starts.
Yeah, thanks, Preston. So I'm at NFL Film Study on Twitter. I'm at FTN Bets, doing a lot of college football stuff. At 4for4 Football, doing a lot of NFL bets throughout the season. Got daily content coming out. 2 or 3 pieces a week on NFL, and I think like 6 or 10 coming out a week for college football right now. So we got a lot of stuff coming out, and yeah, man, happy to always join on. Really appreciate it.
Beautiful. Take it easy. Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks, man. You too.
Ooh, that's some work. A lot of work.
What are your thoughts on the Bucks? Repeat? Like, do you really think it's just going to be this easy?
No. I feel like it's hard to gauge because the last time, like, you go against Brady and he just shows up miraculously, but it's pretty much the same team as last year. And like Ian said, who got better? Like, Aaron Rodgers is disgruntled. We're talking about the Rams, and we haven't seen them yet. And that's it. Like, the NFC, who can come out of the NFC and compete at a high level? I think every team in the NFC East is going to be a dogfight. I think the 3 teams in the NFC South, dogfight. NFC North is Green Bay standing alone, and then you got the NFC West.
You just making a face.
Yeah, that's it. Like,
so their schedule, looking at the Vegas odds and win totals for all of their opponents, grades out as the 5th easiest this year. Do you remember, and I think this is, I'm going to get a little bit closer to the mic. I was relaxing while Qwan was talking. So do you remember, it was like 5 or 6 weeks before the season ended. Do you remember the Kansas City Chiefs game?
Yeah, when they, like, 200 Tyreek Hill had like 200 yards in the first half, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. They were down big, and Tony Romo was calling the game, and he was giving Bruce Arians hell publicly for how their design and approach to playing the Chiefs was. Now, the Buccaneers actually, something happened in that fourth quarter. I believe they scored the last 14 points. They ended up losing by 3, but I think they were down 17. It wasn't really that close. It was one of those, Kansas City went prevent, which never works, right? Unless you're Qwan, you're like, well, they won. Okay. But the point is, after that moment in time, I think Bruce Arians listened. One thing that they were not doing prior to that KC game was running pre-snap motion or running play action, which with all of the weapons they had, and then Tom Brady obviously being able to make those reads, make those decisions, not utilizing it to open up the offense didn't make any sense. Well, after that point, each pre-snap motion and play action went up about 10% after the Kansas City game, and subsequently Tom Brady's QBR after that game was 138. It was the best in the NFL in play action situations. And their offense as a whole ranked second in the NFL in EPA. Even in the Super Bowl, exactly, they ran over 50% play action and Tom Brady dropbacks. Yeah. Like, they embraced it after getting chewed out for not running it for so long, and they win a Super Bowl. So it's at least interesting now. Like, okay, it looks like they figured it out. It took 2/3 of the season. Then they win a Super Bowl. Look, if they figured it out last year, they're probably going to have it figured out to start this year, which is kind of dangerous. And defensively, they still have everyone before they're going to kind of not have the money to sign everyone back. The defense faces a bottom 5 schedule projected of offenses this year. Yeah. It's not going to be tough for Tampa Bay defense to be elite again. They have everyone basically back, if I recall correctly. I actually agree with the Tampa Bay love. And like, the question bodes since Monday with Drew, who's going to catch them? You were referring to it. No one's really improved, and the NFC might just be that much worse than everyone after Tampa Bay. But I thought it was interesting that you can kind of see where their season turned. Mm-hmm. And there's been a few times Tony Romo's like made calls live on games where he's like calling a play and everyone's like, oh my gosh, like what a wizard. Like he saw this play. It's because he like did it so long, right? Yeah. He also is really smart. But like he also might have won the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a Super Bowl. Can I go that far to say that Tony Romo won a Super Bowl?
I would not argue that. And I think that was the game I feel like was, like you said, the turning point in their season. But this year, they actually have a camp underneath them, too, which starting with a new quarterback, new system, all that.
That's why it took 12 or 13 weeks.
It took a while. So with nobody getting better around you, I mean, I don't want to hand them the championship now. You gotta hope that Brady stays healthy. And, yeah, I mean, can't really say anything positive about the NFC.
So this is the team I disagree pretty heavily with Ian, is the Falcons. So I want to hit on that. We have a call. All right, we'll take the call, but I got to talk Falcons. Or do you want to take the call now and then do Falcons after? All right. Just tell them the whole 2 minutes. I just got to run through the Falcons. Ian, by the way, this has moved from 7 to 7.5 over the summer. So the money has been pro Falcons. I agree with that sentiment. Disagree with Ian. Just to start, did you know that the Falcons last year, you know what Pythagorean wins are? Pythagorean wins? Are you familiar with that for baseball?
Didn't we do A squared, B squared, C squared?
That's what Pythagorean is. So based on how many runs you're scoring, or in the NFL, how many points you're scoring, how many you're allowing, you're supposed to win. Pythag expected wins X every season. The Falcons finished 3.5 wins under their Pythagorean expected wins. They were 4-12. They played like a 7.5 win team on average. It was the third largest Pythag discrepancy in over 40 years in the NFL since the merger, I think. So they vastly underachieved. You see a 4-12 team, you're like, man, the Falcons stink. Look, they were a 7.5 win team last year. You kind of sometimes just have to take the blinders off of like what the win and loss number says. You're a 7.5 win team last year that played only 16 games. You play 17 this year. You don't have Dan Quinn anymore. You upgrade, I think, with Arthur Smith. We've talked about when we talked about Tennessee yesterday, what he can bring to the table, where they had the highest frequency of play action last year, the most, I think, historically most efficient red zone scoring team in the history of football last year with the Titans. Can he bring some of that to the Falcons? Check this out. By the way, the Falcons blew 5 fourth quarter leads. They led 5 fourth quarters that they lost games.
Yeah,
that's why you go from like 7, 8, 9 win team to a 4-win team. It just doesn't happen very often. That's what they did. Matt Ryan, last year in his adjusted accuracy rate in dropbacks where there was play action, he was 84%. It was third best in the league last year behind Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. Now you're bringing in the guy that runs play action more than anybody. Probably good. Also, if that's the case, it's probably going to open up things for your run game. And what we saw with Tennessee and Derrick Henry, sure, Mike Davis isn't Derrick Henry, but they're probably going to be better than the 29th best rushing team, which is what they were last year with Arthur Smith. So there's all these things from the actual just literal like Pythag numbers regression. They were a lot better than a 4-win team last year, even if you didn't change a thing. And by the way, I think their defense is going to improve too. They actually have quite a few young guys that I think have positive trajectories. Now you bring in Arthur Smith, who also is a positive, I think, to make them better than a 7.5 win team they were a year ago. You can see why the win total moved from 7 to 7.5. I still think over 7.5 is good. That's the Falcons. So I disagree with Ian there.
Yeah, like you said, you blow 5 leads, 3 of them.
In the
I think
fourth
3
quarter.
of them.
You remember that Dallas Cowboys one where they dropped like
38,
3 onside
like
kicks?
38-17 or something like that.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
I remember there was at least 2 onside kicks in a row. Might have been 3 in the entire quarter. All right. We'll move on to the call. I know we have a few more minutes left. We also still need to do our college head-to-head, but we can go a little bit over time if we need to. Welcome to the show. Who are we talking with?
What's going on, Preston? Andre from Massachusetts.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. We don't want to give time for the college football because that's coming up as well. My picks for today, I'm glad we have some NFL. I'm liking the Colts minus 1.5 going up against the Lions. Colts minus 1.5 going up against the Lions. I like the fact that, listen, we don't know what Carson Wentz's status going into the season is going to be. All right, so this backup in here is getting his reps. He's got to be ready. He's got to be prepared, because they say one thing, and then, of course, with Carson Wentz, another thing is probably going to be what the reality is. And so even though they're talking about week 1 and he's going to be back ready and everything is good and peachy cream, no. That starter needs to be in game shape, ready to go at a moment's notice. So therefore, Preston, excuse me, you're not Carson, you're Preston. I like the Colts with that ready-made team, frankly. I don't know tremendous amount about football, but their offensive line is outstanding. They can run the ball. They can defend. Had a good playoff game last year. They fell behind early and came back, and then they lost, down the stretch. Colts are going to get it done for me. Keep me in the green, minus 1.5. Have a good weekend, all the callers. Have a great weekend, and we'll get back to it on Monday. Thanks for taking the call.
You too, Andre. We appreciate the call as usual. Enjoy your weekend. All he had to say was, it's the Lions. Yeah. But the Lions have taken the money. It was +4. It's down to 1.5 some places. Not sure Wentz is going to play, obviously, and then they're trying to hope that he can even play week 1. But bet against the Lions.
Easy money. That's gonna be the Quan Face segment all year.
Every
fading
week.
the line. It was incredible that they didn't play Jared Goff last week. It's like out of all the teams in the world that need to practice and need the reps.
There's been a lot of teams that just haven't played their guys. Like Carolina and Sam Darnold are hardly getting any reps. It's like, wait, don't you want to see what you have with Sam Darnold before the season starts? I don't get it, but I guess it's all about just we'll figure it out in the regular season. We got to be healthy when the season starts. You ready to do college football?
We could do college football.
All right, let's do the 4-team. We're each picking a side, head to head. If Qwan beats me, $500 goes into the pot. First game's Nebraska, Illinois. Nebraska's laying 7.
All right.
On the road against Illinois. It's a week 0 game and a Big Ten opener, right? No non-conference. They're getting right into it. Nebraska laying 7.
It's at Illinois.
Correct.
All right.
For what it's worth, some info. It opened up. Now, these are, granted, first openers, week 0, like over the summer. Extremely low limits, but it did move. It was 9.5. Moved down to 6.5 some spots, and now it's back and settled on 7.
That sounds like.
I'm not trying to play with your head.
Yeah, I know.
But,
I'm trying to think of like just listening to the last few weeks or the last 2 months with you. Like if it's moving down and then it moved back up, that's favorable for Nebraska, I'm assuming.
If you got 6.5, theoretically, yeah, you're ahead there. But if you got plus 9.5, that's extremely favorable for Illinois. By the way, the totals moved down quite a bit. I know that was like 56.5. I know that's moved down 2.5 points or so. So there's something maybe to be said to a lower scoring game. If that's the case, then the dog getting 7 makes some sense potentially. Not trying to sway you. I'm just laying it out.
I'm going to say we're at home, Illinois, week 0. I don't know if they're fans. I'm going to roll with the Illini.
Okay, you're taking the 7?
Yeah.
All right. 1 second. I wanted to just look something up. All right, I don't have it in front of me. It's all good. It's in an email somewhere, but I'm not going to be able to find it in time. Next game up is Hawaii UCLA. We had a few 18s, but mostly 17.5, and one spot actually went back to 17 16 minutes ago. So there was an opener of 14, UCLA at home to Hawaii, bet up to 17.5, 18. Mostly 17.5. There is 117. We're going to use the 17.5 number. That's what I locked in before the show started. Hawaii, UCLA. Here in LA.
Here in LA. Light the scoreboard up. I'm trying to remember what your breakdowns were, because we didn't get a Hawaii one. We got a UCLA one. I think you were pretty.
I was concerned about their defense because it performed and outperformed a lot of the underlying metrics last year. But I was like, well, maybe Chip Kelly's onto something because he did it for offense. You know,
we'll take Hawaii to cover.
You want Hawaii?
We'll take Hawaii to cover.
Okay.
Listen, I'm sorry.
Colin, by the way, bet the UCLA season wins over in our draft. So he's pro UCLA in general, but that's why you've seen the market move. We'll get 17.5 on Hawaii for Qwan. Okay. Next up, UTEP, New Mexico State. We talked about the game on the Right Angle Sports release show on Wednesday. The total moved up.
Check it out.
10 is the number.
I'm going.
UTEP's laying 10 on the road to New Mexico State.
I'm going UTEP.
Laying 10?
Yeah.
Beautiful. And last one, Connecticut. Didn't play a single game last year.
God. Oh.
Going into Fresno State. They're getting 27.5 points. It's a tall number, but also it's Connecticut. They haven't played in 2 years. And Fresno State.
We'll go Fresno
been pretty
to
good.
Cover.
Laying 27.5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, if you get beat by 28, that's pretty much will of the people.
We did not plan this at all.
Is it this?
Literally, I'm on the opposite of every side. Qwan went 0-for-4 in my opinion. Now, none of these are like massive discrepancies that I think are worth betting, but I have Nebraska minus 7.6, so at 7. And if it had stayed 6.5, I probably would have considered actually betting Nebraska there. UCLA, I actually have 19.5. I know it opened at 14. That was crazy low. It's moved up. I wouldn't lay 17.5, but that's the direction I think it should be. New Mexico State. Now, this one's the weird one because they also haven't played other than a Dixie State March spring scrimmage.
Yeah.
But they really haven't played in 2 years. And we talked about UTEP's offense is up. The right angle guys like the over. We bet that on Steam Warning. My pure number is New Mexico State plus 9. I don't have an opinion otherwise. So if it's plus 10, my number says plus 9. I just have to side with New Mexico State. I will say Mexico State, they rate for me the worst team in the country. UTEP is also like bottom 7 or 8. They're there with like Akron, Connecticut, UNLV. It's hard to go on the road with one of the worst 7 teams in the country and lay double digits. Like, I mean, it definitely, maybe New Mexico haven't played in 2 years. It's just a disaster. Totally could happen. I'm not in the business of laying double digits with UTEP on the road to open the season. That's just, it is what it is. Numbers say that's what it should be. And similarly, I'm against you on UConn plus 27.5. This is the biggest discrepancy in my projections in the market. I'm not surprised. How do you quantify a team that hasn't played a game now for 2 years that stinks anyway? Again, UConn, I mentioned they're in that same range. They are my 5th worst team in the country. They're basically right there with Akron and UL Monroe. How do you quantify they haven't played in 2 years? Okay, probably not as good as what my numbers kind of spit out entering the season. But my numbers spit out 24.4. So that's like 3 points off. I would typically take plus 27.5 if my numbers are saying it's 24.4. That's enough of an edge to beat the minus 110. I would typically recommend this as a play. But they also haven't played in 2 years. Exactly. They haven't announced a quarterback. They can't figure it out. I think they're trying to play the like, they'll never expect it. They won't know who our starter is. Fresno won't be able to prepare for it unless something changed today. I haven't looked and updated today. If they announce a quarterback today, then I apologize. But as of, I believe, yesterday, they still haven't announced it, and they're playing a game tomorrow. They've been splitting reps in practice. So then, okay, you've talked about that, where that's the worst for a quarterback, for a team, everyone trying to figure crap out. I can't recommend it. So definitely don't bet. I even think like if you bet under, I think their team total plus money is under 16.5 just for their team total. Or first half, you can go like 9.5 maybe. It's probably going to win. But my numbers say I got to go UConn, and I just trust the numbers on games that I don't really have an opinion on otherwise. So I'm Nebraska, UCLA, New Mexico State, and UConn. Quan's literally the opposite all four.
You guys are really going to be either happy or upset. But, you know.
What I'm worried about now, though, I was hoping we were opposite on 3 or 1. Because if that's the case, there's no tie. Yeah. Now we most likely both of us go 2-2. That's the most likely result now. And 2-2, no one wins. So we'll have to think of another challenge Monday or Tuesday for the prize pool. But for now, we'll know tomorrow. Those are the 4 for college football. That's the head-to-head between Qwan and I. Nice work over there. We're going to wrap up the show. It was a great week. Appreciated the callers. We had 5 different guests, 2 in studio. And again, next Monday, we're launching officially in its own show hour, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinaire? Your chance to win $25,000. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. We'll be back Monday first with Cheetah again, as usual, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific.